I stand on my parents' porch, arms straining with carefully wrapped packages, the December air nipping at my cheeks. 2 hours of holiday traffic worth it for this moment. Seeing their faces when they open the art book Dad mentioned last spring. The cashmere scarf Mom admired when we window shopped in October. My heart quickens as the porch light flickers on. The door swings open. Mom appears, her figure blocking the entrance rather than welcoming me in. Something in her expression makes my smile falter. Cassidy. Her voice holds none of the warmth I expected. This might not be the best year for you to join us. The shopping bag in my left hand slips an inch before I catch it. What? Behind her, Damon appears in the hallway, arms crossed. My brother's face hardens as our eyes meet. This isn't the place for people who only show up when it's convenient. My mouth opens, but words evaporate before I can form them. Through the doorway, I glimpse the dining room table already set with the good china, the Christmas tree twinkling in the corner decorations I've helped put up every year since I was tall enough to reach the branches. I don't understand. I finally manage. We spoke last week. You confirmed my arrival time. Mom's gaze drops to the welcome mat. Things change, sweetheart. Just 2 months ago, Dad called about their property tax bill larger than expected. I paid it without hesitation, just as I've done countless times before. When the assessment came in too high, I spent 3 hours on the phone with the county office getting it corrected. Now they can't even invite me in from the cold. What did I do wrong? I ask, my voice steadier than I feel. Mom's shoulders lift in a delicate shrug. You've been distant, self-centered with your new life. Must be nice. Damon interjects, stepping closer to the door. Buying yourself a fancy condo while the rest of us struggle. The accusation lands like a slap. I think of the overtime projects I took on to help with his son's medical bills last spring. The vacation I canceled when Damon called about another emergency. My hands stop trembling as clarity washes over me. Okay. I say quietly. Just that. Nothing more. I turn, packages still in hand, and walk back to my car with measured steps. No stumbling, no rushing. They won't see me break. Behind me, I hear Mom's uncertain voice. Cassidy? I don't turn around. From the corner of my eye, I catch Dad's silhouette appearing behind them. He doesn't call out, doesn't step onto the porch, just watches from the safety of the doorway, eyes averted when I glance back. The gifts weigh heavier now as I place them carefully in my trunk. Each one selected with such hope. Even presents for my niece and nephew, wrapped in paper they chose last time they visited my condo. The stark contrast hits me as I close the trunk. My arms full of gifts for a family who couldn't even invite me inside. Their empty hands as they stood in the doorway, taking nothing but still wanting more. If I walk away now, I risk losing the only family I have. Years of holiday traditions, shared memories, the connection that's defined my life. But staying means accepting that my value to them is measured in dollar signs and favors, not love. As I slide behind the wheel, I catch a final glimpse of the three of them framed in the doorway. Mom's hand raised in what might be a wave or a plea to return. Dad's gaze fixed on some distant point beyond the driveway. Damon's stance victorious, shoulders relaxed now that the confrontation is over. I start the engine and pull away from the curb, the Christmas lights of my childhood home growing smaller in my rearview mirror. 5 minutes later, I pull over and sit in my car, engine running for warmth while Christmas lights blink cheerfully from neighboring houses. The gifts in my trunk mock me with their careful wrapping and thoughtful selection. My hands grip the steering wheel as memories flood back, no longer softened by the lens of family obligation. The spreadsheet I created last month for tax purposes stares back from my phone screen. Over $11,000 in mortgage payments for Damon and Maribel in the past year alone. Piano lessons for their daughter Sophia that cost $75 weekly. Summer camps for both kids. Science for Sophia. Baseball for Ethan, totaling nearly $3,000. The numbers blur as a wave of nausea hits me. I canceled my trip to the Oregon coast last spring when Damon called about another medical emergency. 3 days off work, non-refundable cabin rental lost. The urgent hospital bills he mentioned never appeared in my mailbox for payment as promised. Where did that money go? This isn't about one Christmas dinner. This is about years of taking advantage of my generosity, years of family emergencies that somehow always required my checkbook to solve. The dashboard clock reads 7:43 p.m. I should be driving home, licking my wounds in private. Instead, I turn off the engine and walk back to the house, my footsteps crunching on frozen gravel. This time, I don't knock. When I push open the door, the tableau before me feels staged. Damon lounges on the couch, feet propped on the coffee table, scrolling through his phone. Mom and Dad stand awkwardly in the kitchen doorway, wine glasses in hand. 3 pairs of eyes swing toward me. What, no lock on the door for the uninvited? My voice sounds steadier than I feel. Mom steps forward, hand fluttering near her throat. Cassidy, honey, we thought you'd gone home. Why would you think that? Because you told me to leave? I look directly at Damon, who hasn't bothered to stand. Don't be dramatic, he says, barely glancing up from his screen. Nobody told you to leave. The kitchen smells of roast turkey and cranberry sauce. My stomach clenches at the thought of them sitting down to dinner without me, using the china I helped unwrap each Christmas since childhood. Someone with your fancy job doesn't need family like we do, Mom says, setting her wine down. You've got your new condo and your big city friends. You've been slacking off this year, Damon adds, finally looking up. We all noticed. Next to him, Maribel shifts uncomfortably on the sofa, eyes fixed on her lap. Unlike the others, she can't quite meet my gaze. Families help each other, Dad mumbles from his position by the kitchen door. Always been that way. The subtext hangs heavy in the air. Families help each other financially, and I haven't been helpful enough lately. So, because I bought myself a place to live after helping all of you for years, I'm not family anymore? I step further into the living room. Nobody's saying that, Mom interjects quickly. You literally said that on the porch 30 minutes ago. Damon sets his phone down with deliberate care. Look, we're just concerned about Mom and Dad. With property taxes going up and their fixed income, they might have to sell the house if things continue this way. The house they've lived in for 40 years. The threat lands exactly as intended. That's not what I meant, Mom protests, but her objection lacks conviction. They're not getting any younger. Damon's voice drops to something resembling concern. Would be a shame if they had to face their golden years alone. The pieces click into place with sickening clarity. This isn't about Christmas dinner or my absence from family gatherings. This is about money. It always has been. The invitation wasn't withdrawn because I'm distant. It was leveraged to ensure I keep funding their lives. I look around at the family photos lining the walls. In each one, I'm smiling, eager to please. The dutiful daughter, the responsible sister, the human ATM. Mom steps closer, her hand reaching for mine. We just miss how things used to be, when you were more involved. Involved with my wallet, you mean? The words come out sharper than I intended, but I don't take them back. That's unfair. Dad says, finally finding his voice. Is it? Damon, when was the last time you called me without asking for something? His silence is answer enough. Mom, when was the last time you invited me over when it wasn't to help with bills or housework? She blinks rapidly, looks away. I see. My voice doesn't shake anymore. So I'm family when you need something, but not family enough for Christmas dinner. You're twisting everything, Damon says, standing now. After everything we've done for you. What exactly have you done for me? The question hangs in the air. No one answers. I take a deep breath, straightening my shoulders. If I'm not family enough to be welcomed, I'm not family enough to pay your bills. The silence that follows is deafening. Mom's face crumples. Dad looks at the floor. Damon's eyes narrow dangerously. As I turn to leave, I wonder if I'm being too harsh by cutting financial ties completely. Would maintaining some support while establishing boundaries be wiser, or is a clean break the only way to break this cycle of exploitation? What would you do when the people who should love you unconditionally only value what you can give them? I close the door behind me without waiting for an answer. They've already given me theirs. I wake to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar curtains my own. Christmas morning in my condo feels wrong. The silence pressing against my ears like cotton. The perfectly decorated tree looms in the corner. A collection of wrapped presents beneath it with nowhere to go. My phone buzzes. Another text from Aunt Carol. Cassidy, why are you punishing your parents this way? Family should be together at Christmas. I stare at the message, my throat tightening. This makes 12 concerned relatives in 2 days. The family text chain Damon created deliberately excluding me has been busy. According to my cousin Jennifer, I've abandoned the family during the holidays because success has changed me. Setting the phone face down, I walk to the kitchen where I've spread my gifts across the counter. The antique fishing lure for Dad catches the morning light. Mom's hand-painted ornament sits in its velvet box. The gaming headset for Damon. Books, toys, and clothes for the kids. Evidence of months of thoughtful planning, now useless. My neighbor's Christmas music filters through the wall. The cheerful melody feels like sandpaper against my raw nerves. The doorbell rings. A holiday card waits in my mailbox. My niece's handwriting immediately recognizable. Inside, alongside crayon drawings of Christmas trees, "I miss you, Aunt Cassidy. Why won't you come see us?" Something shatters inside me. I sink to the floor, card clutched to my chest, finally allowing the tears I've been holding back for days. Night after night, I wake at 3 a.m., replaying the scene at my parents' door. Was I really distant? Self-centered? I flip through mental calendars, counting the weekends spent helping with household projects, the vacation days sacrificed for family emergencies, the extra projects I took on to cover Damon's financial crises. "You've been distant, self-centered with your new life," Mom had said on the porch. But last spring, when Damon called about his son's medical bills, I canceled a weekend in Vancouver to take on a rush project. When their washing machine flooded the basement in August, I drove down immediately and paid for repairs. When property taxes came due in October, I handled everything. My spreadsheet grows longer each day as I document years of financial assistance, column after column of dates, amounts, and purposes. The mortgage payments when Damon was between jobs. Summer camps for the kids, piano lessons, emergency dental work. The list stretches back 7 years, totaling over $35,000. The morning after Christmas, Rachel from work calls. "My sister's coming to town New Year's Eve. Thought you might want to join us for dinner?" "I'm fine, really," I insist, the lie bitter on my tongue. "I know you are, but nobody should spend the holidays alone." Her kindness nearly undoes me again. "Thanks. I might take you up on that." Tuesday brings another unwelcome surprise. My bank manager calls. "Miss Hartley, I wanted to alert you that someone attempted to access your accounts yesterday, claiming to be an authorized family member." My stomach drops. Was it my brother? "I can't disclose that, but I wanted you to know we denied access. You might want to review your security settings." Later, I learn from my old high school friend who works at the bank that Damon has been spreading rumors about my mental health issues to explain why I'm withholding help from the family. The betrayal feels physical, like fingers squeezing my lungs. I add another column to my spreadsheet, consequences. 3 days after Christmas, my phone lights up with a text from Maribel. "I'm sorry for what happened. I didn't agree with it. The kids miss you terribly." The first genuine connection I've felt in weeks brings tears to my eyes. I respond immediately. "I miss them too. This isn't about them." "I know," she writes back. "It never was." The banging on my door Sunday morning startles me from sleep. Through the peephole, Damon's distorted face glares back. Against my better judgment, I open the door. He storms past me into the living room. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" "I was sleeping. It's 7:30 on a Sunday." "Stop playing innocent. You're turning the family against each other." I cross my arms. How exactly am I doing that from my condo, alone, with no contact? Maribel's acting weird. Mom's asking questions about money. "After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? By abandoning family? The accusation hangs between us. Something shifts inside me, a quiet click, like a lock releasing. "What exactly have you done for me, Damon? Name one thing." His face flushes. "We're your family. We've always been there for you." "When? When have you been there for me?" "That's not—" "No, I really want to know. Because I can list hundreds of times I've been there for you. Thousands of dollars. Countless hours. You think you're so perfect. I think you should leave now," I say, my voice steadier than I expected. "And please don't come back." His eyes widen. I've never spoken to him this way before. He steps toward me, but I don't flinch. "You'll regret this," he warns. "When Mom and Dad need help, don't expect me to pick up your slack." I hold the door open, my hand surprisingly steady. "Goodbye, Damon." After he leaves, my neighbor Tom knocks softly. "Everything okay?" I heard shouting. When I explain what happened, he offers to help install a security camera that afternoon, just in case he comes back. These wireless ones are easy to set up. The simple act of kindness highlights what I've been missing: people who give without expecting payment. Rachel's New Year's dinner feels like stepping into another world, one where conversation flows without tension, where laughter comes easily, where no one tallies the cost of every interaction. You seem different tonight, Rachel says as we wash dishes afterward, more relaxed. I made some decisions, I tell her, about what I'm willing to accept from people. The next morning, I change my phone number, creating a clean break while maintaining one private line of communication with Maribel. I make an appointment with my financial advisor to restructure my savings toward my own future, not family emergencies. As January begins, my phone rings with an unknown number. I almost ignore it, but something makes me answer. Cassidy Hartley? This is Alan Prescott. I'm Maribel's lawyer. She asked me to contact you. I arrive at Hemlock Coffee 15 minutes early, clutching a leather portfolio containing months of bank statements, transaction records, and a spreadsheet tracking every dollar I've given my family. The cafe sits tucked between a used bookstore and a florist, far from my usual haunts where Damon might spot me. Cassidy? A man in his 50s approaches my corner table, hand extended. Alan Prescott, thank you for meeting me. His handshake is firm, his eyes kind but evaluating. I slide the portfolio across the table before he's fully settled. Every payment I've made to help Damon and Maribel. Mortgage assistance, medical bills, summer camps, piano lessons, dates, amounts, and what each was supposedly for. My voice remains steady, professional. $11,437 in the past 14 months alone. Alan opens the portfolio, scanning the meticulous records I've kept since Christmas. Very thorough. I'm a visual designer. Details matter. I wrap my hands around my coffee mug, seeking warmth. What did Maribel discover? Alan removes his glasses, pinching the bridge of his nose. Damon has maintained a separate checking account for years. Maribel found statements while searching for tax documents. He places a folder beside mine. With your permission, she wanted me to share these with you. Inside are bank statements for an account I've never seen. My name appears repeatedly in the deposit column. He diverted the money, I whisper, the floor seeming to tilt beneath me. Not all of it, Alan clarifies, pointing to specific transactions. The mortgage payments went through, but that emergency root canal you covered, hotel charges that same weekend. The children's summer camp tuition? Half went to online gambling sites. My throat tightens as I trace my finger down the list of transactions. The money I sent for Ella's piano recital dress. Louis Vuitton purchase, same day. The room goes silent as I process this betrayal within the betrayal. Not just using me as their personal ATM, but lying about where the money went. Maribel wanted you to know she had no idea. Alan continues gently. She's filing for legal separation. Her priority now is protecting herself and the children. I nod, unable to speak for a moment. Is she safe? She is, and she's grateful for your past support, even if it didn't always reach its intended purpose. 3 days later, my phone rings during a client call. The bank's fraud department. Miss Hartley, someone attempted to access your accounts, claiming to be an authorized family member. We've blocked the attempt, but wanted to verify you haven't granted access to anyone recently. My stomach lurches. Who was it? Damon Hartley. He insisted you'd authorized him years ago. After completing the fraud report, I sit at my kitchen counter, hands trembling with rage rather than fear. Damon didn't just reject me from our family Christmas. He's actively trying to steal from me now. The next morning, I walk into First State Bank, shoulders back, spine straight. I'd like to file a formal complaint regarding attempted account fraud. I tell the manager, sliding the paperwork across her desk, and I need to verify all my accounts have enhanced security protocols. Her eyes widen slightly as she reviews the details. Of course, Miss Hartley, we take these matters very seriously. She hesitates. Your brother has several accounts with us as well. I'm aware, I say simply. By the time I leave, a formal investigation has begun. The fraud report will create a permanent record of Damon's actions, consequences he never expected to face. When Alan asked if I wanted to pursue legal action against Damon for misusing funds I'd provided, I hesitated. Would seeking justice through the courts bring closure? Or would supporting Maribel and the children in their fresh start be the better path forward? 2 weeks later, Alan calls. I've documented everything without charging fees. This pattern of financial abuse is clear enough that you have options if you want to pursue them. Thank you, I say, genuinely moved by his support. Has Maribel shared anything else? She's provided copies of transfers showing exactly where your money went. His voice softens. She feels terrible about what happened at Christmas. That evening, Rachel calls. The cabin's yours whenever you need it, she offers after I explain the situation. Totally private. No way for Damon to know you're meeting Maribel there. I'm struck by the generosity of these connections. People helping without expecting anything in return. The opposite of my family's transactional love. When Maribel and I finally meet at Rachel's cabin, we talk for hours. We form an unexpected alliance. Our shared goal's simple but powerful. Protecting her children from the pattern of manipulation that's defined our family for years. The next afternoon, my phone rings with my parents' number for the first time since Christmas. My mother's voice sounds smaller, less certain. Cassidy, honey, we miss you. Do you? I ask, keeping my tone neutral. Family should stick together through difficult times, she continues, the familiar guilt trip falling flat. Like Christmas? I ask. A pause. Damon explained you refused to help with some essential bills. We were hurt. That's interesting, I say, my voice steady, because I know about Damon's separate accounts now, the ones where my help actually went. The silence on the other end stretches long enough that I check if the call has dropped. Finally, my father speaks. What separate accounts? A week later, the doorbell rings at exactly 6, startling me from my laptop where I've been reviewing spreadsheets all day. Through the peephole, I see 3 familiar figures, Mom, Dad, and Damon, standing in the hallway outside my condo. Mom cradles a casserole dish while Dad awkwardly juggles a small gift bag. Damon's empty hands are shoved deep in his pockets. I consider not answering, but curiosity wins. What desperate play is this? Surprise. Mom says when I open the door, her smile stretched too wide. We brought dinner. Dad steps forward, rehearsed sincerity painting his features. Family should stick together through thick and thin. That's what your grandfather always said. I step aside to let them in, noting how they immediately claim my space. Mom heading straight to the kitchen, Dad settling into my reading chair, Damon prowling the perimeter of my living room. Eyes assessing everything. We miss you, sweetheart. Mom calls from the kitchen where she's already opening cabinets. The family hasn't been the same without you. We depend on each other, Dad adds, nodding solemnly. Always have. I stand with my arms crossed, watching this performance unfold. What's this really about? Damon stops his circling and faces me. I lost my job last week. There it is. The company's downsizing, he continues, voice dropping to what he probably thinks sounds humble. I need help getting through this rough patch. Again, he attempts a self-deprecating laugh that falls flat in the stillness of my living room. Mom jumps in. It's temporary, just until he gets back on his feet. And Maribel isn't helping matters, Dad adds. Damon's face darkens. She's been acting crazy, saying things that aren't true, making up stories about money and where it goes. He takes a step toward me. You know how she gets, always dramatizing everything. She's unstable, Mom whispers, as though Maribel might somehow hear her from states away, not thinking clearly. I walk to my desk without responding and pull out a leather portfolio. For a moment, they all freeze, hopeful expressions flickering across their faces as they anticipate a checkbook. I've been expecting this visit, I say, opening the portfolio on my coffee table. So I prepared something for you. I spread out a series of printed sheets, my meticulous documentation of every dollar provided over the years. Names, dates, amounts, and purposes, all color-coded and organized chronologically. $35,472, I say, tapping the bottom figure. That's how much I've given this family in the past 3 years alone. Their faces remain blank, uncomprehending. And this? I continue, pulling out bank statements Maribel shared, shows hotel charges in Portland on days you claim to be at business conferences in Seattle. I place them beside my spreadsheet. Interesting timing, especially since those charges align perfectly with money transfers I made for your mortgage. Dad stares at his shoes. Mom clutches the edge of her cardigan. Damon's face flushes deep crimson. Where's Maribel? Cut her rash, he demands, voice rising. What have you been telling her? I've told her nothing but truth, I answer calmly. I've helped her secure an apartment in another state. She and the kids left yesterday. Mom gasps. Dad's head snaps up. You had no right, Damon hisses. I had every right to help them start over. And I've established education funds for the children that you cannot access. My financial support will go directly to them now, not through you. I walk to my bookshelf where family photos once dominated the display. Now they showcase travel souvenirs, art from my students, and snapshots with friends who value me beyond my wallet. The transformation isn't lost on my parents, who exchange uneasy glances. From my desk drawer, I withdraw an envelope and hand it to my father. This is a letter stating I'll continue covering your property taxes directly, but will provide no further financial support to Damon. Damon lunges for the letter, but Dad pulls it away, scanning the contents with widening eyes. You can't do this. Damon sputters, rage giving way to panic. I'll pay back everything, I swear. Just help one more time. How can you do this to your brother? Mom cries. To your family? I feel something shift inside me. Not anger breaking free, but rather clarity solidifying into certainty. The real question is, how could you do this to me? For years, I've been your ATM, not your daughter. Their silence confirms everything. I walk to my front door and hold it open. I think our Christmas tradition of me not being welcome works both ways now. Mom starts toward me, but Dad catches her elbow, shaking his head slightly. Damon remains rooted in place, his face cycling through rage, disbelief, and finally, desperation. As they shuffle toward the door, I reach behind my entry table and withdraw a small wrapped package, the last gift I bought before Christmas. I hand it to Damon. For you. His fingers tremble slightly as he tears away the paper, revealing a framed photograph of his children laughing on a playground. Attached to the glass is a small handwritten note. They deserve better. Be better. He stares at it, mouth working soundlessly, before Dad guides him through the doorway. After they leave, I stand alone in my quiet condo, wondering if Damon realizes the legal trouble awaiting him. The loan applications where he falsified information using my name as guarantor without my knowledge are already under review. My phone buzzes with a text. It's from Maribel, a photo of the children exploring their new apartment, faces bright with excitement. The caption reads simply, "Thank you for helping us start over." I save the image, finally understanding the difference between being used and being needed. 3 months have passed since that frigid December evening. My condo no longer feels like just a place I sleep between helping everyone else. I've transformed the second bedroom into a proper home office, with dual monitors and an ergonomic chair that supports my back during long design sessions. My business cards, newly printed, read, Cassidy Hartley Design Studio instead of just my name. The wall calendar above my desk is color-coded with boundaries I never dared establish. Before, green blocks for client work, blue for personal time, yellow for my volunteer work teaching graphic design at the youth center downtown. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I help teenagers discover how art can become a career. Their thank you notes form a collage on my bulletin board, each one reminding me that generosity works best with clear parameters. You have a real talent for this, said Jamal last week, a 16-year-old whose logo design showed remarkable promise. Nobody ever showed me I could make money doing what I love. I think of those words when my mother calls on a Wednesday evening as I'm preparing dinner. Cassidy, thank God you answered, she says, her voice wavering. The upstairs bathroom pipe burst. Water everywhere. Your father tried fixing it himself, but now it's worse. The familiar dance begins her need, my response. But something's different now. That sounds stressful, I say, keeping my tone even. I know a reliable plumber in your area. I can call him right now and arrange payment directly. Silence hangs between us. I can almost see her mouth opening and closing. But, wouldn't it be easier to just send the money? She finally asks. No, Mom. I'm happy to help, but this way works better for me. Another long pause. I suppose that would be fine, she concedes, the surprise evident in her voice. When we hang up, there's no knot in my stomach, no racing heart. Just the quiet certainty that I've done exactly what I needed to do. Friday evening, I host a small dinner. Rachel arrives first with a bottle of wine, followed by Tom from next door and 2 women from my volunteer program. The conversation flows easily around my dining table, no eggshells to tread on, no unspoken expectations hovering in the air. Rachel raises her glass midway through the meal. To found family, she says, the people who choose to be in your life and support you without conditions. We clink glasses, and she leans closer. You know what I've noticed? You shine brighter now that you've stopped dimming your light for others. I feel the truth of her words settle into my bones. Later that week, I confirm my summer plans to visit Maribel and the children in their new home 3 states away. The education trust I established for my niece and nephew is finally complete, a structure that ensures the money goes directly to their schooling, regardless of Damon's financial situation. Our monthly video calls have become something I look forward to. Lily shows me her science projects, and Noah performs little songs he's learned in kindergarten. Without Damon looming in the background, their voices carry a lightness I hadn't noticed before. Tonight, I open the spreadsheet I've maintained for years. Family Financial Support stares back at me from the title bar. I add one final entry, the plumber's bill, then save the file under a new name. Lessons learned. As I box up the Christmas gifts I'd never given my family, saving only those for my niece and nephew, I wonder, is there a point where maintaining contact with toxic family members becomes self-destruction? Or is there always value in leaving the door open just a crack? What would you have done in my shoes?